Emotional triggers in crisis communication in times of upheaval. Emotional triggers become powerful catalysts that can ignite action or deepen division among activists and those seeking social change. Understanding these triggers is essential not only for effective communication but also for navigating the complex landscape of modern activism. The ability to harness emotional responses strategically can transform passive observers into passionate advocates, making it crucial for leaders within movements to recognize and utilize these dynamics responsibly. The psychology behind emotional triggers are deeply rooted in human psychology, often linked to past experiences and personal beliefs that shape an individual's worldview. These triggers can be activated by various stimuli, ranging from visual imagery to spoken words, which then provoke strong reactions such as fear, anger, or hope. When individuals experience these emotions during moments of crisis, they may feel compelled to act based on their internalized values and desires for justice. This connection between emotion and behavior makes understanding psychological underpinnings vital for crafting compelling messages. A key aspect of this process involves the amygdala, responsible for processing threats and initiating fight-or-flight responses. Activists who understand how this part of the brain functions can design campaigns that resonate at both cognitive and visceral levels. Moreover, emotional triggers operate through established neural pathways formed over time. By tapping into familiar patterns, communicators can create immediate connections with audiences without requiring extensive cognitive effort. Fear, often used to highlight risks associated with inaction, fear can mobilize people quickly when framed appropriately. Hope provides a positive vision of what could be achieved, inspiring commitment and perseverance despite challenges. Rage can galvanize communities against injustice, though must be managed carefully to avoid descending into chaos. Guilt might prompt reflection and behavioral changes by emphasizing moral responsibilities towards others. Strategies for leveraging emotional triggers. Crafting effective strategies around emotional triggers requires careful consideration of context, audience demographics, and cultural nuances. A successful campaign does not merely evoke feelings, it aligns them with clear objectives aimed at fostering long-term engagement. Messaging needs to be tailored so that each trigger serves a purpose, whether it's rallying support behind legislation or encouraging participation in peaceful protests. The challenge lies in maintaining authenticity while ensuring messages remain impactful across diverse groups. One approach involves storytelling techniques where real-life narratives illustrate broader issues affecting communities. Personal stories have proven particularly potent because they forge direct links between abstract concepts like inequality and tangible realities faced daily. This method allows listeners to see themselves reflected in tales shared by fellow citizens facing similar struggles, thereby enhancing empathy and solidarity within activist circles. Additionally, leveraging multimedia platforms enhances reach and resonance since different formats cater to varied learning styles and attention spans prevalent today. Videos depicting frontline work alongside infographics simplifying complex data help make information accessible yet emotionally resonant. Ethical considerations in trigger usage. While strategic use of emotional triggers holds immense potential for driving progress, ethical boundaries must always be respected. Misusing these tools can lead to manipulation rather than genuine empowerment, an outcome antithetical to true activism goals. Activists bear responsibility for ensuring their methods do not exploit vulnerable populations or incite unnecessary conflict. Transparency regarding intentions behind chosen tactics becomes paramount when dealing with sensitive topics involving trauma or historical grievances. Furthermore, there exists a fine line between motivating action through urgency versus inducing panic via exaggerated claims. Maintaining factual accuracy helps preserve credibility even amidst heightened emotional climates typical during crises. It is equally important to consider power imbalances inherent within any movement. Ensuring marginalized voices aren't overshadowed by dominant narratives ensures inclusivity remains central throughout discussions surrounding emotional engagement strategies. Engaging experts specializing in ethics alongside communications teams offers invaluable guidance toward developing frameworks that balance effectiveness with integrity. Case studies illustrating effective trigger utilization. Examining case studies provides concrete examples demonstrating how well-placed emotional triggers yield significant outcomes within social movements. One notable instance involved climate change advocacy efforts utilizing imagery depicting melting glaciers combined with testimonials from affected indigenous communities. This dual-pronged strategy effectively merged scientific evidence with deeply felt human experiences, resulting in widespread public outrage directed against policies contributing to environmental degradation. Such cases underscore the importance of marrying empirical data with emotive appeals. Similarly, civil rights campaigns historically relied heavily upon photographs capturing raw moments of discrimination, images still capable of evoking visceral reactions decades later. Their continued relevance highlights the timeless nature of visual storytelling as a tool for awakening conscience. These examples reveal consistent themes. Pairing stark reality with hopeful visions creates balanced narratives that motivate sustained involvement rather than fleeting interest driven solely by shock value alone. Navigating cultural sensitivities while using triggers. Different cultures interpret emotional cues uniquely due to variations in history, language, and collective memory shaping societal norms. Recognizing these differences prevents miscommunication or unintended offense, which might undermine intended message delivery entirely. Cultural sensitivity demands thorough research before deploying certain types of emotional triggers, especially ones tied closely to traumatic events experienced disproportionately by particular ethnicities or regions globally. Linguistic choices matter significantly too, as subtle shifts in phrasing alter perceived intent dramatically depending upon regional dialects or slang commonly employed within targeted demographic segments. Partnerships with local community leaders ensure authentic representation, avoiding stereotypes while accurately reflecting lived realities pertinent specifically to audience being addressed. By prioritizing respect over mere exposure metrics, organizations cultivate trust necessary for building enduring relationships grounded firmly in mutual understanding instead superficial alignment driven purely by emotional appeal. Technological tools enhancing trigger effectiveness. Modern technology presents unprecedented opportunities for amplifying impact generated through thoughtful deployment of emotional triggers. Social media algorithms facilitate rapid dissemination, reaching millions instantly, a double-edged sword demanding mindful usage lest misinformation spreads uncontrollably. Data analytics enables precise targeting, allowing messages calibrated precisely according to age group preferences, gender identities, socioeconomic statuses, etc., thus maximizing resonance amongst desired recipients efficiently. Virtual reality simulations immerse users directly inside scenarios designed to elicit empathetic responses, promoting deeper comprehension regarding systemic inequalities previously difficult grasp intuitively. Interactive digital campaigns encourage active participation, transforming passive consumers into engaged contributors, reinforcing sense belonging. Integral sustaining momentum required transformative change initiatives. However, reliance upon technological solutions necessitates constant vigilance concerning privacy concerns, ensuring user consent obtained transparently whenever collecting biometric feedback or location tracking capabilities utilized extensively within app ecosystems now commonplace everyday life. Building resilience against manipulative tactics as awareness grows regarding manipulative uses of emotional triggers. Cultivating resilience among activists becomes imperative task, safeguarding core principles guiding legitimate social justice pursuits. Education equips individuals discern truth from distortion, enabling informed decision-making processes critical navigating increasingly polarized discourse environments. Critical thinking skills developed early foster skepticism, naturally prompting questions raised automatically whenever encountering emotionally charged rhetoric, potentially misleading otherwise unsuspecting targets. Susceptible influence wielded improperly. Community-based mentorship programs provide safe spaces, explore doubts, confront uncertainties, collectively strengthening bonds forged through shared experiences, reinforcing common ground, transcending divisive rhetoric attempts fracture unity essential. Successful grassroots organizing endeavors. Transparency maintained consistently throughout operations builds institutional trust necessary withstand scrutiny inevitable arise whenever controversial measures implemented ostensibly serving greater good albeit occasionally invoking discomfort. Temporary periods adjustment needed achieve equilibrium sustainable peace pursued earnestly throughout journey ahead together. Conclusion understanding and strategically employing emotional triggers represents pivotal component achieving meaningful transformation within spheres striving promote equity fairness access resources deserved universally regardless circumstance, birthplace identity background whatsoever. Through conscious application balancing empathy intellect-guided ethical compasses aligned noble aspirations future generations inherit world enriched compassion courage collective resolve overcoming obstacles standing tall shoulders ancestors who dared dream differently opening doors possibilities once deemed impossible now unfolding before us every day anew.